Welcome back to The Watch, and Oz, Furiosa is not doing too well at the cinemas.
No, it's not. I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
No.
I was right on the... I almost liked it. It was, like I said, I was on the verge of boredom throughout most of it, but there was enough for me to keep my interest going. We have a full review, in fact. But before we continue, do you notice what I'm wearing? This is the Shadiversity hoodie. And I think it's good that I'm wearing it next to Oz, because look at how ragtag Oz is, and look how great this hoodie is. Also, I've been meaning to ask, why the hell are you just making it mismatched?
Oh, because it's missing so many buttons.
You can still try.
It's too tight.
The top button is...
I have a big neck.
You look like such a hobo.
Well, I haven't showered in 3 days. No.
So avoid looking like a hobo and grab the official Shadiversity Brigandine hoodie because they're really cool and really high quality. Check them out. Link in the description. It's actually not a great film in my opinion, but it's not terrible. Some people will like it. Some people will love it. Some people hate it. And that's like because it's right on that. It's not like a Top Gun Maverick where it's just friggin' amazing and right? People are, in terms of the review scores, are liking it a lot. But that's just out of the few people watching it. So many people haven't even bothered giving it a chance.
They're all sick of it.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about, because now there is a discussion as to why. Why is it bombing so much? Like, supposedly, if it's a great film, I don't think it's great, but I do think there is a large number of people who would enjoy it.
Yeah, maybe.
Do you think that's fair?
I reckon it's fair to say there are a large number of people who would enjoy it.
Yeah.
In fact, I reckon the majority of people who like action movies probably would enjoy it more than they dislike it.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement as well. And yet, no one's going to watch it.
Yes, and good. Good.
Why is that good, Oz?
Because... Yeah, why is that?
Well, that's what we're going to talk about here.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Because people speak, not only is it doing bad, this has released on during a month that's usually quite successful. It has the worst box office opening during this time in the last 30 years.
30 years?
Yes.
That's not even as old as I am.
So it is bombing particularly hard. Now, I think it's a multi-faceted cause. There's multiple causes. And several people are kind of pointing to either maybe one thing primarily and then another thing primarily, and I think they're all playing a part. And so they're all partially valid in their own right.
Yeah, but everything has a prime factor. Everything.
Yeah?
What's the prime factor in this?
Well, one of the more common ones, which I think is pretty kind of fair and obvious, is that it's trying to market itself as a Mad Max film without Mad Max.
Yeah, it has the words Mad Max right there.
A Mad Max saga.
Yeah.
Why would they need to put that in there, Oz?
Because they want people to think that it's a Mad Max movie. But it doesn't have Mad Max.
It doesn't have Mad Max. They want to try and capitalize on the Mad Max fan base, right? Saying, you'll love this if you like Mad Max, while not having the primary thing that they like about Mad Max, the franchise.
Which is the cars.
No, it's Mad Max.
Which is Mad Max with the cars.
It's Mad Max. And they're saying, oh, this is a Mad Max film. It's like, it's interesting how, like, if this is the primary cause, I'm not sure it is. It very well could be, though. And if it is, it's interesting how little interest people actually have about everything around the Mad Max franchise, like the post-apocalypse thing, the cars thing, the quirky kind of setting, which I do enjoy and stuff, right? But you take out Mad Max, there's very little left for people to actually want to bother to see.
Yeah, and in fact, the most interesting, most entertaining part of the entire film was Imperator Jack, who isn't Mad Max, but looks very similar to him and acts very similar to him.
Yeah, that he was generally in the discussion. I talked about this on Friday Night Tights. The Mad Max surrogates, you know, there's a guy that really fills a Mad Max-ish role who does die unceremoniously, right? He is the most enjoyed part by many people who've seen the film. And it's just like, maybe if you just had the real Mad Max in the film and made it a Mad Max film, it might have done a little better.
Yeah, instead of a Bad Max film. That's what they made here, Bad Max.
That's what they're saying. Well, there are people who enjoy it. There is another aspect or criticism that people have raised that this could have been a reason why, and I think it actually is a contributing reason, but it doesn't mean any movie that's does this will fail necessarily. It's not that this has a female lead. It's not that. We have seen films with female leads that do really well.
Yeah, like Alien.
Alien, yeah. I loved Alita Battle Angel. Okay. The thing that I think is turning people off is that this specifically looks like a female replacement of Mad Max.
Yeah.
Instead of giving people a Mad Max film, they're giving them the female version of Mad Max. And it's like, hang on, we still like Mad Max. And even if this is... I didn't think it was great, okay, but pretend it was. Even if this was phenomenal and great, right? It's not what people wanted. You see, I have an analogy that I had in regards to discussing the new Spider-Man Marvel MCU, because...
What's an analogy?
Well, it involves spaghetti bolognese. Hear me out. I think this is an important...
I know this one.
You know this one, right? A lot of people didn't like the first Marvel Spider-Man film, even though I actually think it's a good film.
It's a fantastic movie.
But...
Oh, wait, Marvel?
No, the Marvel Spider-Man film.
Oh, wait, so you mean the Disney Marvel ones, not the ones with who's the McGuire? The first ones.
Not the Tobey Maguire ones. We're talking about the Tom Holland ones.
Those suck.
No. Well, all right. Far From Home sucked. No Way Home sucked. Homecoming, I actually liked.
I just hate how progressive and zoomerish they are. I can't stand the tone.
You actually hit one of the primary things of why the people who didn't like it, why they didn't like it, is the tone. It didn't feel like traditional Spider-Man. And there were the people who loved the film had trouble understanding why people disliked it, who were more traditional Spider-Man fans. And it's for those primary reasons, because I love traditional Spider-Man. I'm a Spider-Man OG massive fan, right? That's why I actually really didn't like Far From Home and No Way Home.
No Way Home sucked.
No Way Home sucked. Sucked balls. But Homecoming, it was close enough for me to enjoy, but I could absolutely see why people didn't like it. And it comes down to an analogy that I give of spaghetti bolognese. When you go into a restaurant and you just have a craving for spaghetti bolognese, you want the spaghetti bolognese, and you order spaghetti bolognese, and they come and they give you a really nice shepherd's pie. It doesn't matter how good that shepherd's pie is when I wanted spaghetti bolognese.
Yeah, and I wanted the lamb that went into the shepherd's pie.
You just want lamb. But this is the thing. This is the important thing, right? Shepherd's pie could be a really good shepherd's pie, but no matter how good the shepherd's pie is, it is crap spaghetti bolognese, because that's not what it is.
It isn't even spaghetti bolognese.
Exactly.
It is so far from spaghetti bolognese, it's not even the same thing.
Oh, that is food.
It is edible.
Yeah. And so I had this discussion with Mauler, and we had actually a pretty good debate about this back in the day, because he's kind of the mind there is like, all right, it's not what I ordered, but it's really good shepherd's pie, and I can enjoy the shepherd's pie. I'm the more of the, if it's not what I ordered, what I wanted, it's never going to satisfy me. All right? And it will be crap for me, because it is like I'm judging it against the metric of it being spaghetti bolognese. And this is with the Spider-Man. With Spider-Man, I was judging it against the metric of traditional Spider-Man, not just on its own, thing.
So it's not about spaghetti bolognese.
It's not. Well, this is just an analogy, Oz. Can you follow me with the analogy?
Okay, and so it's the forms that you have the problem with. That the thing that you asked for wasn't actually anything to do with Spider-Man.
Kind of. And so now we can apply this to Furiosa, right?
Okay.
People want a Mad Max film. That means they're wanting Mad Max. Doesn't matter how good, this new character is.
Yeah.
If they're wanting Mad Max, that's never going to satisfy them.
It's like if I wanted Halo, but instead got a tremendous piece of crap.
Yes. Yeah.
It would still be better than 343 Halo.
Well, this is the analogy I'm giving is like, even if they offer up something good, if it was, isolated in itself, the fact that they're trying to do a bait and switch or a subversive thing where, no, you wanted this, but we're giving you something else. People have every right to be pissed off and say, no, this is not good. Because this is the thing. Furiosa, compared to Mad Max, less interesting character.
Yep.
She was basically a plank of wood. Thing is, though, Mad Max is a very stoic character as well. One of the things that Mad Max makes him more interesting to me is that he was like a reluctant hero. He would still do the right thing. There were very few things, self-sacrificing things, that Furiosa did in the movie Furiosa. She's serving herself, wanting revenge. And I wasn't invested as a result. Also, I'm starting to think, like, maybe I'll get proven wrong in the future, right? So far, all the attempts at a strong female character who acts stoic just fails.
Yep.
And I'm starting to doubt if a female action hero can be interesting and engaging while being stoic at the same time, because there is this this is the thing. Furiosa, she weighs like whatever. She's
tiny little thing.
She's a tiny little thing, right? And as a result, it's very hard for her to convey intimidation through the glare and silence, right? Unfortunately, this is the reality. And it's not necessarily unfortunately, it's just the differences of the genders, right? And it's that women have a harder time conveying physical kind of intimidation because they're shorter, slighter, especially if they're, she's an attractive woman still, right? It's harder for her to convey menace through that silence, where men, they got the size, if they got the gruffness, they got the intimidation factor. That stoicism can feel not only intimidating but also menacing, but also it's the unspoken threat of he could do some stuff and is ready to do some stuff.
Yeah, there can be stoic female characters that have done well, like Mariko from Shogun, the translator.
Yeah, but I would call her reserved, not stoic.
Really? Because they got the eightfold fence.
Yeah, I like stoic. I'm kind of thinking like the masculine version of stoic, because that's what they're trying to do with Furiosa.
Yeah, they're trying to get to that.
She's definitely going for the masculine intimidation tough factor, right?
Yeah.
And I'm starting to like. Maybe they can pull it off, but it's much more difficult and I haven't seen a character that's been able to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about it's the Star Wars thing, Ahsoka, Ahsoka, stoic. The Asian character in it with the haircut, stoic. And they all just came off as annoying, moody, grumpy, uninteresting, characters.
But green alien lady with the yellow pants, the very tight yellow pants, she was great.
Okay. Loved her. I didn't like her either. Woo! You just like the tight pants and the booty.
She's green as well.
But there's been these attempts where they think a strong female character needs to be masculine. And then they try and copy the masculine archetype for these characters. And because women just have a harder time conveying that menace and intimidating factor, so far it all fails. Yeah. And with Furiosa, it fell on its face as well. And it's not that you can't have a strong female character. I love Alita Battle Angel, but Alita Battle Angel embraced the feminine side to her character, which gave such a really intriguing juxtaposition about how tough she was. She was such a badass, and she had this naive, innocent, gentle side that was kind of coming out of her femininity that made the character really engaging and enjoyable.
Because that's the thing that grounds you in reality. The fact that she's, by all intents and purposes, like a teenage girl.
Yeah.
And she acts like one. And only when the bad stuff starts, then she's like, oh, okay, battle mode. And it's the coolest thing ever. Yeah. When she's got no arms and, one arm and no legs.
And she still takes on the guy.
That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life.
I love it. Alita Battle Angel just it doesn't get enough credit.
It doesn't.
And it's a great contrast as to, if you want to do a strong female character, okay, perfect example, because it seems like when they're trying to make the strong female character, they're forgetting the female part.
Yeah.
And this is legitimately a thing that a lot of people are getting fed up with. Like, there's even been actresses coming out and saying, I'm getting less interest in playing the strong female characters because there's less feminine kind of things for me to connect with.
Because there's always got to be something that grounds us to reality. Like Furiosa in the first one she was in, right? She was pretty stoic throughout it, right? But then there's moments in it, especially early on, where she lets her guard down and she softens up, and then towards the end when she finds out the green place is gone, then she breaks down.
Yeah, she's a much softer character in Fury Road.
Yeah.
And not as stoic. She speaks more, and she specifically needs more help.
Yep.
By who?
Max.
Max.
And Max, like, he's not, I wouldn't say a tag along, but like he goes through a lot of different changes in that movie himself in terms of states.
Like, because I've rewatched most of it. I'm not up, like, right to the part where they're starting to, push back and try and, and they're on the race, right?
That last bit is amazing.
Oh, yes. Like, really enjoyable, right? But what's interesting, and I have it clear in my memory from having watched it more recently, Max ends up becoming the leader of the group, not because he tries to, but because he's competent and he knows how to do it.
Yep.
Like when they pull up to so the supposed they think they're getting near the place, the green place, right? And he's just like, that's bait.
Yeah.
Right? And and everyone kind of listens to him just because he's competent, and it gets to the point where he's starting to lead just because he is obviously knows what to do.
Yeah.
And then when they're lost and the green place isn't there, what do? He's the one to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
And they listen. And he didn't ask to be the leader. He just naturally gravitates towards that position, right?
Yeah.
It works. It works. And people are trying to say that it doesn't make sense that people are not liking Furiosa because wasn't Fury Road a bait and switch all about Furiosa anyway?
No.
Well, no, I would agree. Mad Max actually ends up being the most competent, capable, and essentially the leader, even though he starts off being in chains. And then, it's interesting how they have that kind of, all right, we need to kind of work together after he's like got the guns on him and stuff.
Yeah. And it was, this is why Furio is such a better movie, because the whole thing that made him like, okay, fine, we'll work together is she asked, do you want that thing off your face? Instantly, yes. And also, interesting, right? He starts off in chains as a blood bag. And then at the end of the movie, when Furious is dying, what does he do? Gives her his blood.
I'm not up to that, so I couldn't remember.
Oh, okay. But I'm just saying, that's such a better movie with arcs and themes and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So it's not equivalent, right? People saying it doesn't make sense. You like Fury Road, why don't you like Furiosa? Furiosa is clearly a much larger bait and switch. The character actually isn't even completely consistent with a character in Fury Road. She's more of a stoic, yes, girl boss, right? And people are getting legitimately fed up with the girl boss crap.
Yeah.
It's not to say you can't have a strong female character, but a girl boss is starting to become different to a strong female character.
Yeah.
A girl boss is starting to actually more be, characterized as a masculine, more male acting female character.
Yeah, because there's got to be things that tie it to reality as far as relationships go. Like, look at Aliens. The Aliens, not Alien. Like, she's with a group of badass military dudes, right? And they're competent, but then they've never fought this thing before.
Yeah.
And so she knows this thing, and she's gone nuts and crazy and, like, breaking down a couple times here and there. But, it's more believable, But this stuff just isn't.
So that I actually do believe is genuinely contributing. Quartering actually points this out. He's got a tweet. Furiosa bombing doesn't sit right with me at all. It has literally everything you could want from a blockbuster, yet it isn't getting that deserved blockbuster money. Quartering replies, it's because Hollywood has fed the public a steady diet of complete garbage, so people have decided they don't want to give anything the benefit of the doubt. A few good movies will pay the price.
Yep.
I don't actually think this is necessarily good, but I think he has an absolute point where the goodwill is gone.
Yep.
This would need far more universal praise, and for me, it's very mixed, right? Our discussion on Friday Night Tights, very mixed. And the critical drinker, he actually liked it a bit. I haven't watched his review yet, but it also sounded like it, bit mixed to positive.
It was more so like basically his take, Quartering's take.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got some great moments, but...
And I think there was actually some pretty good moments. Like, there was some pretty big spectacle, just nothing to invest me in it, and the biggest failing on it, I think, was Furiosa's character herself.
Yeah.
And that's the whole girl boss stuff. People are getting fed up with it. Quartering also points this out. Furiosa was the worst performing film for Memorial Day weekend in 30 years. It needs over $500 million just to break even after marketing. Despite great reviews, it made just $31 million and barely beat a Garfield movie nobody knew about. People are sick of female protagonists. Now, I get what he's saying, because I think what he means is the girl bosses.
People
right?
are sick of bad female protagonists.
Yes. I mean, because Barbie, right, had a female protagonist, but the thing is, that lent into the feminine kind of side and connected with the female audience, even though I do think Barbie is a complete trash dog crap movie.
I think it's one of those, accidentally based movies.
I know, I get that. I don't think that redeems it. I don't think they deserve any credit for, because they purposely went so far. They had the mask off moment where they exposed what their real, agenda means. It's like the purpose of feminism is to make women unhappy. That was in Barbie, right?
I know, but that's the thing. You can't fake truth. Like, they're so stupid. They accidentally made something completely truthful.
But the purpose of doing it was to go. They went so far. Their intent was to push feminism to the wazoo.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's still the worst film probably of that year.
Doesn't succeed in what they try to do.
Yeah.
But it succeeds in what I'm trying to do.
Right? So obviously films with female protagonists can succeed. All you need to do is give Quartering just a little bit of charity in understanding what is saying in the context of what's going on.
Yeah.
And you can see, like, people are sick of the whole girl boss, feminist, replacement, stuff. And it's happening all the time. And it goes back to like Star Wars, where they replace Luke with Rey, and then they're trying to do it with Indiana Jones, and they're trying to do it with He-Man, with Teela, and they're trying to, it just goes on and on and on, where they have something just a sexist bigotry against male protagonist characters, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and so he does kind of address that to, he says to half the people speaking out in the replies. If half the people speaking out, because that triggered a lot of people. Okay?
Spurging.
Yeah. If half the people speaking out in the prize would have paid to see the movie, maybe it wouldn't have flopped. People see strong female lead and they tune out. Yes, Barbie made money. That wasn't selling a strong female lead. It was actually selling a normal woman. More feminine woman. More feminine woman. It was, it had the bait and switch where it looked like it was celebrating femininity when it was really just trying to push feminism. But,
if anything, it celebrated masculinity. I mean, think about it. Ken goes in that place and is like, here's all the amazing things men have done. When does Barbie get a moment like that?
Oh, look, I get it. And they hate that this interpretation is pretty blatant, right? Where Ken, he brings patriarchy to the Barbie land.
And it makes it better.
And it not only instantly is a more effective system because it takes over instantly, it makes all the Barbies more happy.
Yeah.
And the answer of trying to take away the patriarchy in Barbie land is to bring feminism, and the way of bringing feminism is literally to make all the Barbies unhappy. Yes. That's what feminine does to each other, unhappy and dissatisfied. And when they institute feminism, they instantly make the men the second-class citizens again and want to oppress them.
And they use their sexuality to get the men to start infighting.
Oh, and also to they want to win an election in Barbie Land through nefarious means by distracting the Kens to not vote.
Oh, but that was just fortifying the election.
That was just fortifying it. Don't get me wrong. I get there are hilarious things in Barbie, but still, they were oblivious to all of that. They actually believed in all the stuff they were pushing. All right. Okay, so back to Furiosa. Yes, female-led movies can be successful, and no one has ever said no. What we're pointing out is that the strong female character, the masculine, the abandoning of femininity, the replacing of the male characters, people are getting fed up with it. And so we have two big things already that I think is affecting the box office of Furiosa in a big way, right? The first, of course, it's a bait and switch. It's Mad Max isn't in it. People want to see a Mad Max film. Mad Max isn't there. Doesn't matter what everything else that you try and throw out that's, this is Mad Max stuff. It's like, you're missing the main thing.
Well, actually, Mad Max is in the title and credits.
And he appears briefly in the film.
Well, because they play Fury Road.
Fury Road. Okay, but anyway, Mad Max not there. Second, female bait and switch. It's people are getting fed up with the female strong character thing, and even if it's good, all right, they don't really care because they're getting checked out. And there's a couple of other things, all right. I think the goodwill thing that Quartering points out. Absolutely true. People are not giving the benefit of the doubt. Okay, they need to hear overwhelmingly good reviews to get them to think, okay, I'm going to watch it. Dune was successful. Okay, there was hype for that, and there was good reviews after, and it was a freaking great film. I love Dune 2. I mean,
I liked a lot of the visuals, but I prefer the books. I can't. Yeah.
All right, but anyway, I think that no goodwill, and also lastly, I think streaming is affecting cinema massively. They're getting to the point where a lot of people know they'll be able to see the film for free. In their mind, it's for free. They're already paying for a streaming service, and they know it's going to come to a streaming service, and they're already paying for it, and so they're not paying anything extra than what they're already paying, and they're going to get access to the film. Yep. I think that is a massive thing that's affecting the cinema, and the only way to break it is when people think the film is so good that they have to see it sooner, and they're not willing to wait. Furiosa seems like such a middling, don't know if it's going to be good, don't know if it's going to be bad. There's nothing that's drawing me in. It doesn't have Mad Max. So I have no need or desire to go out of my way to watch it when I'm going to be able to watch it essentially for free because I'm not going to pay anything extra for it later on streaming.
Yeah. Also, there's the high seas, not just streaming.
There's the high seas as well. But I think that's a big thing that's going to be affecting so many films.
Yep.
Back in the day, you either could pay for it, see it sooner at the cinemas, or pay for it to see it later on DVD or Blu-ray. Either way, you're paying, so you might as well pay it, see it sooner, even if it's going to be a film. Now, it's like, I don't need to pay to see it later because I'm already got the subscription. Free film in people's minds.
Instead of Mad Max, we should call us Meh Meh.
Meh Meh? Yeah, this is the Meh Meh film. It's a Meh Meh saga.
I got that from you.
You did.
Because you just said that.
I did. Thank you for pointing that out. Because it's always funnier when you explain a joke.
So basically, the joke I'm making here. There you go.
That might be one of the biggest contributing death knells on cinema. Because I heard Oppenheimer was really good, even when I was at the cinemas.
It looked weird to me. It looked weird.
Like, there wasn't enough for me to care to see it at the cinemas. So it came on streaming. I've watched it recently. Good film.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take
film.
it. I saw a scene from it and I was like, whoa, that's strange. And yeah.
No, good film. Didn't appreciate the pointless nudity.
That's the point. I was like, the sex scene in an interview, that made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's the scene I saw, as well as some other things.
That's the only scene you saw?
No, I saw some other things. I saw the bomb exploding, and then in the interview, the bomb exploding. But why was he freaked out that the bomb exploded? That's what bombs are meant to do.
It was the destructive power of it and all that stuff. But there's the thing, right? I might have actually seen it if I knew streaming wasn't an option in the future. So those are four large contributing factors, which are kind of making a perfect storm. That's not only going to affect Furiosa, it's going to affect so many films. And the only films that I think are going to break through it are ones that have, one, they're serving the initial kind of interest that fans have. It's not a bait and switch. It's just, you like this, we're going to give you this. Okay? And so, yeah, the bait and switch, people getting fed up with the girl boss characters and everything, that is harming films. So it gives stuff that people want. But even then, I still think it might fail because people do not have any charity or goodwill invested in it. It's like, no, I'm not giving you a chance. I need to see good reviews. And streaming alone, those two things are going to really affect it. And then if you just give crap films on top of it, that's going to compound it massively. But cinema is in danger.
I'm just thinking, right? Like, the movie Fury Road is indicative of the problem we have now, right? Think about this, right? The people that were chasing Furiosa in Mad Max Fury Road, were they chasing Furiosa? What were they chasing?
The wives.
And the wives are more representative of what?
Some type of traditional, value that people were putting in. Not the enslaving part. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, not that. Yeah. But like femininity, grace, fertility.
That they were valuing those things, and those women had it, and they wanted to keep them as a result.
Thematically, it seems like they were the dudes were
horny.
They had the milk ladies.
Stay on watch.